What's up, guys? So I get this question a lot, mostly from younger guys and even guys that are in their 30s or whatever. Hey, what can I do to get more confident with girls? Um, First, I mean, just like don't listen to those pickup guys. That's like a weird, shifty, distorting game, right? It's like those guys. It's like it's very sleazy to do those things, and it's uh it's effeminate, right? You guys, it's basically like they're calling to mirror the woman and like ask all these deceiving questions and make up deceiving answers for yourself and make yourself better than what you actually are. Like it's a whole bunch of rubbish. So don't listen to these guys. All the whole like pickup nonsense. Um, so what I would suggest is first to work on you, right? Before you do anything, you gotta fix you. So if you want to be more attractive to girls and you're an introvert and all these things, is first is get to the gym. Start doing physical activity. Okay? And that's going to take a while, right? So if you're kind of soft, you're out of shape, like you got to start watching what you eat and getting yourself together, getting to the gym and getting under heavy weights and taking care of yourself. And that's maybe it's running, it's lifting, it's doing all those things. And that's going to be a sacrifice and it's going to be painful. And but then you'll get used to it. So make up a routine, start getting to the gym, get yourself in shape. Because guess what? Most of the time, if you're having trouble with girls, it's because maybe you look terrible. I mean, that's the truth. Folks that have the most trouble are introverts and they're strange and they look terrible. And guess what? There's one thing that you can correct. Like being an introvert's like probably you could fake it. You could fake not being an introvert and you could do that. But the easiest thing to do is you could still stay an introvert. You could still stay, kind of weird. Use that to your advantage. But get to the gym and get yourself in shape because you could be a kind of a bookish guy or, kind of nerdy or, I mean, a video game guy. And I don't understand video game guys at all. But you could be any of those things. And if you are in good shape, guess what? Like your face gets in good shape when you go to the gym. Like your jawline gets stronger. The way you look, the way you carry yourself, everything corrects itself in, I mean, the matter of 6 months. And then a year later, you're a different person. You're a completely different person. The way you carry yourself, what you eat, what you do, how you act, um, everything changes. And when you're carrying yourself like that, and you're carrying yourself like a man or a young man, and your body is upright and it's strong, it doesn't matter if you're an introvert or you're kind of bookish or into video games or any of those things. Like things change immediately. It doesn't even matter what you wear because guess what? When you get into shape and you buy clothes, they fit properly and they hang on you correctly when you're in shape. So it doesn't matter. You don't need fancy designer clothes and like all this nonsense and watches and ridiculous stuff like fancy shoes. Like it doesn't matter. Like if you're in great shape, like listen, you get in great shape, you can go out in cowboy boots and jeans and a t-shirt, done. You can go out in flannel and a pair of shorts, done. You can go out to the beach in a Walmart bathing suit, doesn't matter. You're in good shape. And I'm not even talking like excellent shape. I'm just talking about getting strong. So you can get strong and still, kind of be soft in the midsection. And that'll work for you. I've a buddy of mine, it took him 1 year to get into shape. He went from I can barely get under the bar to hitting 300 pounds in bench to barely being able to deadlift, whatever, like 90 pounds to deadlifting 305, 315, easy. In 1 year, he did that and he kept his big stomach. But he V'd out his back, his face completely changed, the way he carried himself changed, everything about him changed. So the first thing I would recommend, the most important thing is Not the clothes, not any of this stuff. Like, don't listen to any of that nonsense. Watches, clothes, jewelry, necklaces, do this. It's dumb. It's so dumb. So, get yourself to the gym, start getting in shape, and know that it's going to be, if you've never been to the gym before, guess what? It's going to be painful. If you ever ran before, guess what? It's going to be painful. You're going to get shin splints, and that means just keep going out and keep doing it. And that pain will fade, and you'll even chase that pain later on in your lifting career of like actually wanting to lift so heavy or do something so hard that you can feel it the next day. So that's what I would recommend first. Second, after you get into shape, let's say you're an introvert, and I'm 100% an introvert. I didn't do anything. I just stayed in shape and like that's it. Like girls usually came up to me, look at my nose. I got a big old crooked nose, slanted to one side. It doesn't make a difference. That stuff doesn't matter. Like you get into shape, a lot of stuff doesn't matter. You stand upright, and for me, either girls would come up to me and make a comment or whatever, and engage me in conversation. I'm an introvert, so that would happen. Or sometimes I would just I would approach them, and easy peasy. I didn't have anything fancy to say. There was no like lines or any of this garbage nonsense. Like I would just have a conversation, introduce myself, get her name, whatever. That's it. That's it. And also, guys don't like sink so low to be so desperate to like have that desperation. And working out, guess what it does? It stops that desperation from happening because you're when you're in shape, you don't need to be desperate anymore. You don't need to stink of desperation. Um, one example. Hey, so I was in college. I went back to college late, super late, like in my 30s, and that's where I met my wife. And I remember seeing my wife for the first time in a history class. And I am 11 years older. So she's 20 at the time. She sits down right up front and I was sitting towards the back. I didn't know that she looked at me. She told me later, oh, she looked at me and blah, blah, blah. I didn't even know. But I saw her that first class. So the second class, you know what I did? I sat right next to her. I sat on purpose right next to her. I moved my chair immediately next to her. I didn't even engage her in conversation. I'm an introvert, right? So the first time that we had kind of an availability to to chat about something, and the professor broke us into small groups to talk about the reading that we were supposed to read, which she didn't read. Funny story. I engaged her. I said, "Hey, let's be in a group together, me and you and the two people that were sitting behind us." And I engaged her into conversation, and that's where I started. And that was the second class, right? And I could think of other situations that were similar to that, where either like I just made a move to be in proximity to an opportunity because I'm an introvert, and that's it. The other thing I would recommend is be at least a little bit interesting on a couple subjects. And I don't know what those subjects are for you, um, but at least something that makes you a little bit interesting. So I read a ton of books and magazines and art and architecture and history and biographies. So pick up some knowledge. Hold on, let me grab that. So pick up some sort of knowledge, some sort of whatever it might be, something to that makes you interesting, that you enjoy. Maybe it's gardening, maybe it's I don't know what it is. You know what it is. You know what it is for you. I mean, you'll probably melt her face off if you talk about video games, but be more of a guy that kind of picks up something, reads something. Don't just watch something. That's not going to help you out too much. And I mean, these days, like, check it out. Like, you can listen to awesome audiobooks. So you don't even, if you're a guy that's like, oh, like, yeah, but I have trouble concentrating and reading. Well, first, like, try to formulate that so you don't have trouble reading anymore, because that's a you issue, and you could fix that with diligence and making up some sort of reading plan. Like, I'm going to read 5 pages a day of this book until it's complete. And you can do the math on that, right, pretty quickly. If you read 5 pages a day and it's a 300-page book, like do the math. Just figure it out. But lift weights, be interesting, read something, listen to audiobooks, listen to great audiobooks. Okay, so you can listen to any of these audiobooks online now, probably for free through your public library, and not like all this like self-help nonsense. Like read like real literature so you understand, or listen to it so you understand how the world works. Um, I mean, you could listen to Plato and Homer and the Republic and just get some book knowledge underneath your belt as well. The other thing I would say for some of you guys is I know one of the biggest things that a lot of men struggle with, especially young guys, is pornography, right? So just stop watching it. Don't do it because it's going to distort your view of women first, and it also stinks of desperation. It's pretty gross. And just don't do it. You can't like lift weights and like be watching pornography and expect girls to like come up to you. Like this is just not, none of it's gonna work. So get some, build some habits, some virtues. Stop watching things that are dumb. Stop wasting your time. Get yourself together. Get to the gym. Lift weights. In 6 months, everything's going to be changed for you. I mean, your clothes will fit differently. Like you'll look better. You'll stand taller. Your confidence will boost up real quick, and then you'll be able to meet some girls. Then I would say also, last things last. I always recommend religion. I'm Catholic, and I'm not like, I don't go to a Novus Ordo parish. I'm a traditional Catholic, so I think religion, and rightly formed religion is important, and that forms you as a man as well because you're following the commandments and the sixth commandment, the not being pure in heart and thought, and that also comes across to women as well. The other thing too is when you're speaking to women, you don't need to cater to them or like do any of this stuff. Just be who you are. Stand firm in your beliefs and don't like trickle in because like they feel a certain way about a certain thing. You kind of dictate your answers and get like a little bit squirrely about it. That just makes you weak and uninteresting and like why are you compromising yourself? Like you don't need to do that to like, and don't be desperate about it. It's silly. So lift weights. Don't be desperate. Change your whole life in 6 months to a year. That's all it's going to take. Just put in that hard work. Go read a couple things. Listen to some audio books. I recommend it. I would read Homer. I would read the Iliad, the Odyssey. I would read some biographies of some great men, like really great. Like read His Excellency George Washington. Read Isaac. I forget the guy's name, but Benjamin Franklin's biography, that's really good. You could listen to his autobiography as well. Any of the Tom Sawyer stuff, anything that kind of gets your brain working correctly. Go read those things. Go lift. If you have trouble lifting, hey, I wouldn't like spend a ton of time on YouTube. Mechanically, you know what to do, right? It's not hard. It's called go grab dumbbells, lay on bench, press dumbbells. Go start to try to do pull-ups or, go do rows. Grab dumbbells or whatever, do chainsaws, do rows, like get yourself into shape. Once other guys that are kind of guys that lift see you at the gym, like you could always ask questions, where those guys will sometimes live and come up and be like, hey man, you're doing this wrong. They'll help you out. Like don't waste your time like over planning that part. Just get there and start getting the job done. If you don't know how to run, you don't need to research how to run. Like you got legs, like just go do it. Don't spend too much time like thinking about the activity or planning the activity that you're going to do. Just go do it. And then you'll learn from there. All right, that's it.